about really like learning how the best thing and the easiest thing about our business is you have people doing a bang up job, right? There's always somebody that's successful. There's always somebody that's selling a lot. There's always somebody that's teaching and training a lot of people. There's always somebody that's rebuilding, right? There's always somebody that's hiring a lot of people, right? There's always somebody doing a great job, okay? So I'm gonna give you 7 things real quick that you can copy, paste, steal, cheat, okay? All you have to do is go grab the best person that's doing the best job in these areas, and you gotta say, hey, teach me your ways, and then you gotta go apply them, right? It's the easiest thing in the world, okay? So 7 things, but I want to dive into a little bit of why people don't, okay? So if it's so easy, right? If it's so easy to copy and paste, okay? Everybody did it in high school? Everybody learned how to copy and paste? Yeah! You're like, hey,
that's how I got through high school.
You did your homework last night? You did it? Okay, cool. Can I copy it? Next time maybe I'll let you copy it. Or if you're just kind of a, you're a bum, you just copy it every time, okay? Right? You pay them a little bit, okay? Right? But if it's so easy to do, why do people not do it, right? I think it's most likely an ego thing, okay? People like to create their own stuff, right? People like to do it their own way, okay? I've had people come into the business, right? We have a very copy and paste pitch, right? We put it up on the board a second ago, okay? Had people come into the business, okay? People that were very successful later on, when they first came in, they're like, no, I want to pitch differently, right? I want to do it a little bit differently, okay? And they try to pitch and they go 2 or 3 weeks rolling zeros, and then they finally come, Ryan, what are you doing? I'll do it your way, right? And then they're actually get some results from it. But most of the time it's an ego thing, right? We don't want to copy other people. We want to make our own path, right? We want to make our own success, okay? And you can absolutely do that, but there's definitely things that make you successful that if you just copy and paste it, it makes your life 10 times easier, okay? So, and then also you have to realize that everybody is copying and pasting somebody. Okay, not too long ago, I guess it was a while ago, but I'm like, everything that we hear from our mentors, right, is taken from somebody else. Okay, everything that Ralph talks about on the leaders call, everything that Carlos talks about in meetings, or that you're about to hear Mike T or Bill Bishop talk about at regional leaders meeting, guess what? They probably heard it from somebody more successful than them. Wild. Okay, so all you have to do is just copy, paste, and steal what other people are doing, okay? So the first one in our business is look at how the best people spend their time, okay? Where are they putting their energy in, right? Where are they actually investing their time, okay? You'll see a lot of things, right? And what you've got to look at is you've got to look at people that are only a little bit above you, okay? Because if I'm a level 1 leader, right? That term leader is very quotation mark because as a level 1, you're not really a leader yet, okay? You haven't proven yourself as a leader. But if I'm a level 1 leader, am I going to look at how Ralph Hidalgo spends his time?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? Okay? Right? Like you're a level 1 leader. Are you going to go to the field on Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Ralph Hidalgo going to go to the field on Monday? So am I going to look at Ralph and say, hey, Ralph's not going to the field on Monday. That means Corey, I'm a level 1, I don't have to go to the field, right?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Go home.
You go home, right? So you have to look at people that, like if I'm a level 1, I'm probably looking at the best level 2, right? I'm looking at who is the level 2 that's doing the best job and how are they spending their time, right? Are they staying late in the field? Are they in the office early? Are they teaching and training every single week? What are they doing? Okay, if I'm a mastermind or a partner, I'm probably looking at the best rookie owner in the country. What are they doing? As a rookie owner, what are they doing? How are they spending their time? How are they investing their energy? Right? Because time is all energy, right? If you either invest your energy into something that's good or you invest your energy into something that's bad. Same thing with time. You either invest in something that's good, that's going to move you forward, or you invest in something that's either going to keep you the same or move you backwards, okay? So how are they spending your time? Look at somebody that's slightly above you, that's doing the best job, the best person in your industry, okay? And a lot of people are scared. Just go to the best person, okay? They're in their position because they went to the best person as well, right? So they're doing the same thing. They're not going to, some people are afraid, like, oh, Ralph doesn't have the time. Ralph will make the time. That's why he's so good at what we do, right? The best level 2, they will make the time to invest in you if you just ask, right? So just ask those people, how do they spend their time? What do they do and how do they invest their energy? Okay, number 2, sales, okay? Who's the best at sales? Who's the top guy? Who's the top girl? Okay, if I want to get good at sales, I've got to grab that individual and be like, Yesenia, you're freaking smashing it. What are you doing in the field, right? And not just what are you doing, like, how do you walk into the store? Is it right foot first? Is it left foot first? Like, how do you put your tablet down? How are you turning and burning? How are you actually, what's your tone of voice look like when you're actually talking to the customer? When you're closing, how aggressive are you? Are you asking for the ID first or the Sam's Club card first? Like, every little thing, how are you doing it? And then guess what? I'm gonna go into the store and I'm gonna do it exactly the same way. Right? I'm gonna ask for the ID the same way. I'm gonna put my tablet down the same way. I'm gonna clock in at the same time. We're gonna do everything exactly the way that top person does it, because all I'm doing is copying and pasting what they do inside the field. Okay? So that's number 2 is sales. How do I get good in the field? Grab the top person that's crushing it, which is always, it's gonna change, but for the most part, there's a lot of people that are at the top consistently. Right? I'm not gonna grab the guy that's at the top of the board for 1 week and then the other 6 weeks he's at like 10 lines or whatever. I may grab that guy, but you got to take it with a grain of salt, right? If I've got the guy that's 10 weeks in a row, that's been at 10 plus apps and they're freaking crushing it, I'm going to invest a lot more time in spending time with that individual versus the guy that only did it 1 week, right? I can learn something from anybody, okay? I'm still probably going to grab something from that guy that smashed, hey, what worked for you this week, man? Heck yeah, I'm going to go try to apply that as well. But the guy that smashed it for a long period of time, I'm definitely going to spend my time with that guy or girl, okay? So that's sales. Number 3, hiring and recruiting. Okay? Pay attention to the people that are hiring and recruiting all the time. Okay? How do they dress inside of the office? How do they present themselves? Right? They're most likely dressed pretty sharp. Right? They're mostly in a full suit. They're probably in a tie at some point. Right? Like, how do they dress and how are they presenting themselves inside of the office? Because that's what matters when you're hiring and recruiting and attracting other people. Right? How are they wording their second round? Okay, how are they actually closing individual and bringing people onto their team all the time? How are they really good at just actually closing people in a second round and paying attention to that thing that's sent out to the leaders chat of like who's getting hires, right? I'm like, man, every time I see Carter's name on the list, it's like bring on board. Right? He's always hiring people. He's always training, right? What is he doing? What is his wording in that second round? And actually sitting down with him and saying, hey, how do I word things? How do I present myself inside the office that actually attracts individuals? Okay. Number 4, teaching and training new people. Okay. It's the root of our business, right? You want to teach and train other people and you want to be able to duplicate yourself. Okay. When it comes to teaching and training, right? How are they doing classroom? Okay, I want to get around that person and say, hey man, like, how are you so successful with classroom? Because classroom is super, super important in getting somebody off on the right foot, right? So I got to get around them and say, hey, how are you training inside of a classroom, right? Like, what are you doing day 1, okay? And then going into like, hey, what are you doing day 1 through 4, right? Super, super important. What are you doing day 1 through 4 that your people are always crushing it right off the bat? Your people always have sales day 1, day 2, day 3. Okay, how are you doing that inside the field? What are you teaching them? What are you training them on? How are you keeping it simplistic for your people that they're able to actually smash it right off the bat? Okay, so when teaching and training new people, how do they do classroom? What do they focus on inside of classroom? Okay, because focus is always your number 1 priority. If you have a focus, that means you're going to probably be successful in whatever you're doing. If you don't have a focus, if you're just going to it blind and you're like, hey, I'm just going to see what happens, usually you're in a reactionary mode and it's usually not going to go over very well, right? So you got to be prepared for what you're doing. How are they doing classroom? What are they focused on? What do they want that new start to know or be able to do day 1 through 4 of actually getting trained up, okay? Number 5, how do they have conversations or how to have conversations, okay? This is how people build great leaders, okay? Great leaders are built through conversations, okay? So how are they having conversations? I'm going to grab the top guy, right, that I know is very good at conversations. His people aren't inconsistent, right? His people are always producing. His people are always on point. His people are growing, right? How is he or she having conversations, right? What's the structure behind it? When do you have the conversation? How do you have the conversation? Right? There's a million different situations that you could run into with teaching and training other people, right? So going through different situations, right? If I know Tarek is really good at combos, okay, and I have a situation with one of my new start, I'm like, Tarek, man, this happened, like, I've seen you go through this. How do you have conversations with your people to where it actually is productive and they get the best thing out of it instead of me just having a combo and kind of falling on my face, right? I'm gonna go network with this guy and say, hey, how are you having conversations? What's your structure to it? What are you doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, after the field convos? What are you doing that your people are so consistent when you're having conversations, okay? Number 6, how to build relationships and culture.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang. This is a little bit harder. It takes a long time to develop, right? But there's definitely people that do it really, really well, okay? In building relationships and building culture. The best I think of is my upline, okay? Khalil. He's really, really good at building relationships, okay? Josh knows, right? Just a fun guy to be around. He knows how to build a culture. He knows how to inspire people to just do more, right? I don't care where I'm at, I just want to do more, right? I know I'm capable of more, and that's such a culture thing that he's been able to build. It's a little bit harder to do, right? But what are they doing to actually create that culture, right? What chants are they doing, right? What team nights are they running? What are they going to actually work with their people once their shift is over, right? How are they creating that culture of wanting to do more, right? Whatever culture you want to build within your team, you've got to get with somebody that, hey, like they're smashing it with building team culture, and that's obviously a reason that their team crushes it, right? So how to build relationships with people, right? A lot of that goes into conversations as well that you have with your people. So how to build relationships and culture. A lot of that's people skills, right? If you don't have people skills, we work in a people business, okay? If you don't have people skills, you've got to be reading books on people skills, okay? I'd be reading as much as you can of like, hey, how do I communicate with people? How do I inspire people to do more, right? That's all people skills type stuff. So you need to get with your mentor and say, hey, I need books on people skills, right? I need to know how to actually, motivate and inspire other people through the things that I do and through the things that I communicate. Okay, so how to build relationships and culture. The last one, okay, how are they growing? Okay, the top people, how are they growing? Okay, because if you don't continually grow, right, if you're staying stagnant, you're moving backwards. Because guess what? The world does what?
Moves us forward.
The world moves forward. So if you're staying in the same place, what are you doing? You're moving backwards, okay? You don't feel like it, but you're moving backwards, okay? How are the people, the best people growing, okay? Meaning who's good at personal growth, right? Who's good at investing in themselves? Who's good at actually reading and listening, right? So I want to copy, paste, and steal what Raf is reading, listening to, watching. I want what Khalil is listening to, watching what Colton Wright, who's running a freaking killer office and starting an organization, what is he listening to? How is he growing? Okay? And this is another thing of like, hey, I've got to see somebody who's crushing it just ahead of where I am. Okay? I need to see somebody who's, if I'm a level 1, okay, right? I know Rob, he's reading something like Crucial Conversations, okay? Which is how to have conversations with people. Okay, if I'm a level 1 leader, do you think I need to be worried about Crucial Conversations? No. I have nobody on my team, okay? Right? I don't need to be worried about that. I probably need to read something more like 10X or Be Obsessed or Be Average, right? So I've got to know where to grow and I've got to know who to grab, but at the same time, I got to grab that best guy, right? As a level 1, okay, I'm learning how to sell and kind of get into teaching and training, right? I'm not really there until I'm a level 2. I haven't really proven myself, blah, blah, right? So I need to read books on mindset, right? Because sales is all mindset, right? It's not technique, okay? We don't usually recommend, like, hey, how do I learn how to sell? I'm like, well, go get the 10 steps of selling by this person, right? I don't think I've ever recommended a book like that, just because selling is all up here, right? It's very little technique. It's like 15% technique. What's the 15% technique, 15% knowledge,
product knowledge,
skill, and then 70% like attitude and mindset. Okay, so always going to recommend something like a Be Obsessed or a 10X or something like that. So know where you're at, right? If I'm a mastermind or a partner that's about to get promoted, I may be listening to something like Crucial Conversations, right? Or Leadership, okay, by John Mack, something like that. Okay, so know where you're at, don't skip ahead with it, but how are they growing? I want to know how they're growing because I've got to grow as well. Okay, so yeah, that's really all I had on those. But learn how to just copy and paste other people that are doing a really, really big job. Okay, you make your life so much harder, right, when you kind of try to do it your own way. right? It doesn't mean you don't have a personality. It doesn't mean you're on your own path or whatever it may be. You're going to create that 100%, okay? But the best of the best in the world, I literally read an article the other day, that the best of the best in the world are copying somebody else, okay? Right? You think about the super successful people, right? They have mentors. They have people that they're actually learning from, right? So you got to learn how to copy and paste other people, and it's super easy to do in our business. Those 7 areas should give you a good idea of, hey, where should I be looking at to just, hey, if I want to learn sales, I've got to grab the top sales guy, right? If I want to grow, I've got to grab the person that's always reading books and you're always spitting out quotes, right? Somebody that's always quoting John Maxwell, you better bet they're reading, right? They're always quoting Grant Cardone or somebody like that, right? I need to get around that person and be like, hey, what are you reading every single day? What are you listening to? What are you watching when you're going to the field or whatever it may be, okay? And then areas like teaching and training new people, right? You're successful in our business. Are you successful by yourself?
No.
100% not. What's the success in our business?
Teaching and training.
Being able to duplicate yourself, right? So the only way that I get good at that is I go to the guy that has 5, 6, 7, 8 people on their team, okay, or more, and I say, hey man, how did you get there? What did you do to communicate with your people? What did you do when you were hiring? What did you do to build a team culture of everybody just wants more, right? So I got to figure that out. Get with people and copy and paste and see what they have. Cool? So I like that.